biggest way to silence those critics is just winning. That's my main goal.
Johnson climbing the ladder.
He is extraordinary.
Johnson with the big-time rejection.
What a move by Jalen Johnson.
Hammer it down!
Live from Bristol, Connecticut, it's Saturday morning.
And it is countdown to game day.
Covered by State Farm. Look at that intro. She's Victoria Arlen. I'm Jason Fitz. Victoria hanging out with us for the first time this season. If you're new to what we're doing for the next 30 minutes, we're going to get you caught up and ready and hyped for a great edition to Game Day. You can watch us in the ESPN app, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, wherever you stream anything ESPN. And we're going to have some fun, great experts. We're going to get you caught up and ready for all the action today. Obviously, it's your first time hanging out with us. Yes. Let's acknowledge the fact that you brought the pleather game. Like Christine is usually here. Christine Williamson, our great co-host, usually here hanging out in the hoodie. You brought the full show outfit. It is you're fire. You're spitting fire this morning.
Thank you. Well, thank you. I mean, I had to bring it for you. So.
Yeah, well, I changed twice, and this was the dressiest I could get. I don't know what I'm doing anymore. I do know that we'll have a lot of fun. Like I said, we're going to get some expertise. There's one major topic that hit all over college basketball throughout the course of the week. So let's bring in one of our favorite experts, and we'll get some insight on it.
Big news, and it is huge news. The freshman Jalen Johnson has decided to opt out of the remainder of the season for Duke.
Here's the deal: the guy quit his team.
For him to opt out now, optically, it's very odd.
At the end of the day, Duke is going to do what's best for Duke in the program moving forward, and he has to do what's best for him.
It's the college basketball story that ruled all of sports media over the week. You just saw it. Five-star recruit, Duke freshman, projected lottery pick Jalen Johnson opted out for the rest of the season so he can get ready for the 2021 draft. We're going to get ready for some insight with it with one of our favorite experts. You watch him every single weekend on Game Day, LaPhonso Ellis. LaPhonso, thanks so much for the time. So let's start with the basics here. What was your reaction to Jalen's decision to opt out?
Yeah, I was shocked initially, and part of that was just the timing of it all in the latter part of the season. But then as I was able to take it in a little bit more, I could start to begin to understand why he would potentially make that decision. But certainly, my immediately thought about it was one of shock.
So this has become a bit of a controversial decision by Johnson, with some saying he quit the team and others saying that he made the decision for what was best for his basketball future. How do you view those things being said about him?
Well, I think much of it is difficult really to judge because we don't have all of the information. I know the optics aren't great, but the reality is he has a responsibility to look out for his future, his family's future, of course, in the context of his teammates and his coaching staff. My hope would be that he would have talked to his coaching staff, his teammates. They would have come to a reasonable agreement, either agree to disagree or agreed in understanding where he's coming from. Because, folks, what we're talking about here, it's an interesting thing. So there's been so much criticism about the decision that he's made. Yet, if it were reversed and he would have blown out a knee, many of the detractors would be saying, wow, they weren't going to make it to the NCAA tournament. He wasn't playing for anything. Why didn't he opt out? And so in many cases, unfortunately, he's in a situation where he just can't win. But I can certainly understand where he's coming from. He's trying to protect his draft stock. This kid has an opportunity to be potentially the 6th pick in the draft. And if he's the sixth pick, you're talking about a guaranteed at least $11 million over 2 years. And if he's the 14th pick, we're talking about a guaranteed $7 million over 2 years. And so I'm sure he would have talked to his teammates about it. Remember, he's in that small percentage of guys that goes to college to play college basketball that has an opportunity after 1 year to be able to hop over to the NBA. So with that said, I'm sure there was some type of understanding that that could potentially take place. Again, optically, because of the timing, it's bad, but the kid is just trying to look out for his financial future, and I don't think we can criticize him for that.
Well, and LaPhonso, great analysis by you as always, but let's be real about the optics. Duke stinks, right? Duke's not good this year. So how much is does that factor into this entire decision for a player?
Well, again, I can't speak for him because I don't know what really went into it. But I remember my 5th season playing for the Denver Nuggets. We had gotten to the point mid-March where it looked like mathematically we weren't going to make it to the playoffs. Had it about a $40 million deal on the table. Could have sat, but I felt like I was going to let my teammates down if I didn't continue to play. I blew out my Achilles tendon, averaging 22 points a game that year, the most in my career, and that $40 million was gone. So again, for these guys who are in a unique, rare airspace, who have the opportunity to play 1 year of college basketball and jump on to the NBA, it's a business decision for them. And so knowing that they weren't going to make the NCAA tournament, he decided to pull himself out and to prepare himself for the draft. I can't blame him for that because, again, conversely, if he blows out a knee, now he's missed out on that opportunity. And I'm not disappointed with the decision that he made.
Well, the shoes on the other foot game is my favorite play to play. Most people, shoes on the other foot, would make a very cautious personal decision with millions of dollars on the line. Now, that being said, Syracuse head coach Jim Boeheim is a legend, obviously. Everybody knows his words have resonance. He spoke this week. This is what he said about the decision. His quote: "That guy was hurting them so much, they are actually much better now without him. He was just doing some things and keeping other people from playing that are good." What's your reaction to those comments?
Well, I've always had a policy that you don't talk about other teams, you talk about your teams. And so I'm a little disappointed that Coach Boeheim attacked him at that level. But at the same time, Coach Boeheim comes from the old school, which is where I've come from, and I've had to adjust a little bit because for my generation, it does look like you're running out and you're abandoning your team. Again, the thought process for these kids, these one and dones were few and far between in my day. Shaquille O'Neal was in my draft class, and he left after his sophomore, junior year. And so, again, it's more business guiding the decisions for, in this case, Jalen Johnson to opt out. So I can understand where Coach Boeheim's coming from. I come from the old school in terms of that mentality as well. But at the same time, there's a business aspect for that few who have an opportunity to go to the NBA after 1 year. And again, I am not disappointed with him, nor can I criticize him for making that business decision.
So we saw it a lot last year with in college football with players and teams opting out of bowl games. Do you think this is just the beginning for players opting out of the remainder of the season?
I certainly think it's going to be a trend for players who potentially are first-round draft picks in the NBA, players who are first, second, or third-round draft picks in the NFL, because, again, they have to weigh the cost. I go back to my junior year. By that time, I already had a wife and had 2 kids that I needed to be responsible for, and I was considering leaving Notre Dame early to try to go to Europe to try to earn money to take care of my family. My coach, John McLeod, came in my senior year, who had coached in the NBA for 18 years, talked me out of it, came up with a game plan by which in the context of the team concept, he could get me there. That ended up being a very fruitful decision and ended up being the 5th pick in the 1992 draft. And so, again, it's so different these days because you have to factor in the business aspect of it. Most students go to school to put themselves in position to be able to make a nice living coming out of college to start. So why are we faulting young athletes from doing the same?
God, I could spend an hour on this soapbox. LaPhonso, I appreciate your honesty with it. Let's talk about the next phase in Jalen Johnson's basketball journey. Let's look at the latest 2021 NBA mock draft done by Jonathan Givony and Mike Schmitz, an article you can read, by the way, by signing up for ESPN+. Johnson projected as the 6th overall prospect taken in the draft. Played 13 games at Duke. From what you've seen, you know the NBA, you know college basketball. What's his NBA future look like to you?
Well, you're talking about a guy that's 6'9", 225 pounds, very versatile, can pull it off, a terrific rebounder, rebounds it on the defensive end, can push it in transition, create offense for himself by getting in the lane, and is a really good passer. And he's shown a proficiency to be able to knock down the 3-ball. He's shooting over 40% from the 3-point line. So with a lot of work and some focus and some intense time in rounding out those other aspects of his game, I think Jalen Johnson has an opportunity to have a long NBA career because of his length, versatility, ball handling, vision, and overall feel out there on the floor.
So beyond his fitness program, how do you think Johnson's opt-out decision will affect the draft process and also NBA talent evaluators?
I think the NBA, I actually talked to one this morning, and surely they're going to factor that in. But there's so many other things that they factor in as well. And they're going to ask him, why would you do that when optically it looks terrible for you? And he will likely say, look, I went there to try to win a national championship. We got to the point in the season where it didn't look like we were going to make it to the NCAA tournament. And so with that understanding, I felt it was best to opt out, to start preparing myself for the NBA draft and get ready for my NBA career.
LaPhonso, man, we appreciate you coming on. We appreciate your insight. Great work by you, as always. You guys keep hanging out with him. You'll get to see him on game day. This is just the beginning of his morning. LaPhonso, have a great morning this morning.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me on.
If you want to join LaPhonso on College Game Day, all you got to do is go to collegegameday.com to enter for a chance to virtually join Reese, Jay, LaPhonso, and Seth this season on College Game Day. Get out there, do it. You know you want to.
Hello, welcome to the big time. He is showing off the bounce. Oh, the lob. He is a winner with a capital W.
What better way to start a Saturday morning than by giving a little love to some players or programs that are kicking butt right now? We do that the way we only we can on this show with some Who's Hooping. We'll start with James Bouknight versus Providence. It's his first game back after being sidelined for 6 weeks with an elbow injury. One of 20 players named to the Wooden Watch late season list. Man, what a game he had coming back. Team high 18 points led to the key UConn win over Providence. UConn on the bubble right now. They're the first 4 out via Lenardi. We all know that Lenardi knows it all and gets it right. So big moment for him, big moment for the program for him to come back in. Absolutely great for him. And he's hooping, James Bouknight.
Michigan and Ohio State. This is now a basketball rivalry, Fitz. They play each other Sunday for the first time when both are ranked in the AP Top 5, number 3 Michigan and number 4 Ohio State. In football, they played each other 11 times when both were ranked in the AP Top 5. The most such games between any two teams in AP poll history. They are hooping for sure.
All right, keeping it in the hooping. Oh, yeah, they still got more highlights. They got more pretty highlights here.
We got more.
Look, when you got more highlights, you show more highlights. That's what we do on Countdown to Game Day. Brought to you by State Farm. All right, let's take a look over here. Get a little love to Alabama's Jasmine Walker. Senior forward poured in a school record 41 points, grabbed 15 boards in Bama's win against Auburn on Sunday. Walker's the first SEC player with a 40-point, 15-board game since 2003, and she remains the only player to rank in the top 5 in the SEC in points per game and rebounds per game at 20.8 and 10.2, respectively. She's hooping.
All right, we got Belmont. Fitz, this is for you. There's a 20-game win streak after defeating Jacksonville State 63-59 on Thursday. Their third 20-game win streak by an Ohio Valley Conference team over the last 25 seasons. They joined Gonzaga as the only 2 teams in D1 with a 20-game win streak this season. I just love saying Gonzaga, but Belmont's crushing it. They're hooping for sure.
The only thing tougher to handle than snow in Nashville is Belmont basketball. There you go. All right, you want more college basketball, other sports takes, great interviews? Watch Sports Nation with our friends Trevor Scales, Ashley Brewer, Taylor Twellman. By the way, I made a couple of appearances. Check it out. And Stephen A. dominates everything, especially ESPN Plus. Stephen A's World, the man himself. Both streaming daily. You can check him out weekdays exclusively on ESPN Plus. Check him out. All right, Victoria, you hanging in so far? We good?
Yes.
Victoria Arlen, Jason Fitz, Countdown to Game Day. This is her first time hanging out with us, although we've been friends for a long time. So this is a great opportunity for us to work together. In the grand scheme of friends, we're going to bring in a newer friend to the show, the great Monica McNutt, the ESPN basketball analyst, one of our favorites. Look, Monica, we've got a lot to talk about, but we're going to start with the fact that I think we made you famous. For anybody that didn't see here, Around the Horn, you were out there crushing it. That's right.
Yes.
You made your debut on a show that I've been camping out. Like, I've been stalking Riali. I'm like trying to get his phone number, just saying you up to get on this thing. No, you got on it. You beat Jackie Mack. You are a champion. What's better, coming on with us or going on Around the Horn? Let's just start there, Monica.
Well, Fitz, you know what I'm saying? This energy, God, you're right there with reality. It's a tough call. I'm going to go loyalty first, and it was you first, so it's you, my guy. It's down to game day. Let's go.
That's a good answer, although Sarah Spain reminds me often on Spain and Fitch, which you can listen to from 7 to 9 p.m. Eastern on ESPN Radio. The reality is way stronger and more fit than I am, so I wouldn't mess with him at all. All right, let's get to some fun around the college basketball landscape. With the Wendy's Wouldn't Watch this week, we're spotlighting USC freshman forward Evan Mobley. He's fueled USC to a 7-game winning streak, including a double-double, 20-point, 11 boards game versus Washington State last Saturday. And for good measure, he flirted with a near triple-double, 22 points, 12 boards, 7 assists in a win over Arizona State on Wednesday. Today, Mobley and number 17 USC take on Arizona. Monica, what do you love about his game?
All right, so I don't think that we're talking enough about his passing ability. Like, every time you watch a game, the commentators joke that it's the brother thing between Evan and Isaiah, but I actually think it's way more than that. He makes the right passes out of the post, particularly when doubles and triples come. He does have a knack for finding his brother, but he has great basketball IQ. There's a couple times where infield has him break the press. Now, maybe not dribble between 3 and 4 guys, but he's definitely helping to bring the ball up the floor. So I love his versatility. I'm excited to see him in an NBA system where guys are in the right spot at the right time, and he's going to have an abundance of passing options, and he'll get the ball in all of his major spots too.
Speaking of versatility, nothing's more versatile than Wendy's. We all know that. Everybody knows my obsession with junior bacon cheeseburgers, particularly, but also with fries and Frosties, which brings us to a very important conversation that we are now going to have. Monica, do you dunk your fries into your Frosty?
Hold on, I'm hammering this home. Okay, I got a little prop here because I love props.
Oh, okay.
It's an absolutely not for me. Absolutely not. Now, there is a reason, though. I am also a non-dairy person, so I wouldn't have had a milkshake anyway. But why would you put No, that's a no. That's a hard no for me.
Okay, well, I appreciate your dairy stance, but look, I'm all in on the Frosties. Victoria, where are you in on the dunk?
Well, I have to say that at one point, several points in my life, I have dunked my fries in the Frosty, and I'm not ashamed. I'm not ashamed about it. I do it, and I will probably do it again.
Is it your personal preference to dunk the fry in the Frosty?
I mean, I think it's.
They're both delightful.
Can
See,
you
here's the
explain
thing.
why? I just
It's
need
like
the logic.
the sweet and
is
salty
it the sweet
situation. Yeah.
But what about the hot and cold? Because now you got cold, nasty fries, which are gross.
Yeah. Well, you got to eat it quick. You can't let it melt. You got to just eat it quick before it gets soggy. But I think so. I mean, it's Wendy's, you know. It's delicious.
Okay, it is delicious no matter what. I'm just saying, as somebody that does appreciate both salty and sweet, I just need them compartmentalized. They need to be separated. Like, give me the fries, and then I'll have some of the Frosty. And then when I want more, like, counterbalance, I'll go back to the fries, and then I finish with the Frosty.
Yeah, but if you're on the go, you dip it and you go.
Monica, like...
Sweet and salty is peanut M&Ms in your popcorn. Like, that's sweet and salty. This is... No, I can't.
All right, well, you know what? Obviously, separating them is a great play. Speaking of which, let's get to surprisingly great plays brought to you by State Farm. Let's start with a little bit of welcome to my poster, Stanford versus Washington. Stanford's Bryce Willis takes it strong to the hoop, where he is met by Riley Soren, 7'4". Look, you go up against somebody, no, not up in here. He still got it, though. I got to give him a lot of credit. I mean, he still got the bucket. That's a level of power to just go through
the block? That's insane.
I mean, have you ever been blocked like that, Monica? Have you ever blocked somebody like that?
You playing, Fitz? Have you ever seen me jump? Like, well, is that a joke? Like, you coming at me this morning as a guest on the show? What do you think this is?
No, I've
not done either of them.
Well, look, has anybody ever seen me jump? I mean, I'm pretty sure a fourth grader could block me in basically anything. All right.
I just fall when I jump. I can't land. So.
We're helping ourselves here. Let's get to the next play. Good Lord.
All right, let's move on. Last night, Toledo versus Buffalo. Toledo's Seth Milner Jr. takes off and absolutely crushes it on Javon Graves, making Graves pay for contesting this dunk. Just look. Just bye-bye.
Oh.
Like, just a body slam situation. Oh, I like that view. Yeah, I mean, Monica, what are your thoughts on this one?
All right, this is one, Victoria, where you got to give it a face. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's no words necessary. Just,
Yep.
Oh.
How is it? Like... You even killed, like, we were talking about disrespectful face earlier before the show. Like, the closest I come to disrespectful face is I look like Beaker. I'm like...
Mine's like...
Ain't nobody intimidated by my disrespectful face. It's like, did Beaker just dunk on me? Maybe it did. Oh, jeez.
You do look just like Beaker. That's hilarious.
Thank you. That's my great life skill. Let's go to the next play. What am I doing here at this point? A little bit of love for Michigan coming up.
Oh, God.
This is Michigan Rutgers. Wolverines' Mike Smith. About to get fouled. He's going for the three, gets fouled, gets knocked down. And you know you got to help somebody up.
Okay.
But what do you do when it's your coach, Juwan Howard, coming up and saying, I will help you up? I mean, that's got to be some sort of a level of inspiration, right, Monica?
100%. I love what Juwan Howard is doing with this Michigan team. I also always give a shout out to my dude, Phil Martelli, who's one of the nicest guys when I started covering college basketball. He was still at St. Joe's. But I think we've heard players at different points talk about this Michigan group. The players are fantastic. I get it. But the secret sauce is Juwan Howard, and that is the type of display right there. Not that Coach K wouldn't, but you know what I'm saying? Like, Coach K is a little older, his players a little heavy, but, like, we love it from Juwan Howard, for sure.
Well, let's stick there for a quick second, guys, because I think we sort of undervalue sometimes. Like, every time it doesn't work, when somebody comes back to where they have a background, where they have a history, and they played, every time it doesn't work, we trash them. It's working for Juwan Howard. It's working for Michigan. I mean, Monica, when you see what they're doing, like, I feel like this is a team that's capable of winning the national championship, and Juwan deserves a lot of praise for that.
100%. I don't think that's far-fetched at all for two different reasons. I mean, we've seen, I think there's like a dozen contenders in my mind on the men's side, legitimately, and Michigan would be one of them. But we also know how odd this year is. So what coaches think they know about their teams by the time we get to the tournament? Nothing is as certain as it would be in a traditional year. But I think Juwan Howard, as a coach, is uniquely positioned to relate to his players. Because how many Fab Fives are there? Last time I checked, it's just the one that he was a part of.
Yeah, well, I'm just saying, like, I think Memphis fans are looking at Penny Hardaway saying, what's going on here? Like, we thought you were going to be our...
Give him a little time. Just a little time.
That's
a little
fair.
time.
All right.
Everybody's not going to have the Juwan Howard magic.
That's fair. You know, patience is not a virtue most of us have in sports. Let's be real.
Yeah,
Speaking of patience, we're going to need a little here because we're going to try and do some predicting. We're going to play a new game here, Monica. We love bringing you in for these personality game segments. This is what's going to happen. So here's the premise. We're going to start a play. We'll get to the beginning of the play, and we'll pause it. Once we pause it, we'll see what each of us thinks is going to happen, and then we'll play the rest of the play to see how it actually plays out. Are you ready for this?
Let's do it.
All right, so we're going to start here with what's going to happen, and we'll start with a little bit of love for Purdue University, Fort Wayne versus Youngstown State. Easy for me to say. Demetri Corton with the ball on the 3-on-2. That's where we are. We're going to pause it here. Monica, what's going to happen?
I got a oop to his teammate running the other lane.
Okay, Victoria, what do you think is going to happen?
I agree with Monica, for being honest.
Okay, I have not seen this, so I think what he's going to, none of us have. So I think he's going to pass to his teammate's going to pass back to him, and then there's going to be a dunk. A lot of action in a little bit of time.
Okay.
Let's see what actually happens here. Okay, picking it up. And off the backboard to himself.
Okay, never mind. He assisted himself.
We are all wrong.
Yep.
Oh, that's
Happy to be wrong on that.
I was not expecting that, Monica.
When that happens to you in the gym, you just sit down and say, I'll take the next game off. I realize it. I'm not going to get picked anyway, so I'm done with that one.
All right, we're going to move on to Oklahoma. Elijah Harkless with the step and drive into lane. All right, we're pausing it. Monica, what's going to happen next?
Man, I feel like we set the bar so high. The basketball play for me is the shuffle pass to his dude on the block. But I feel like maybe he's going to dunk on two people. Let's go with he keeps it and dunks it himself.
All right, what about you, Fitz?
Okay, I'm going to say that Monica's first inclination is right. I think he drives through him and then does like a cute little no-look, and that leads to a dunk from his teammate.
I think he's going to go for it.
Okay.
I think he's going to go for it, yeah.
All right,
All right, let's see what happens. That looks like a back injury.
Oh my God. I mean, that's
I mean, that's going to leave a mark.
That's just not what he wants to be known for at this point. Like that's painful when you want but
the shoulder.
Again, as somebody that, I don't know that I could dunk on a 5-foot rim, so I got tiny hands. Like it's really hard to
That is especially egregious because I'm almost positive the simple shuffle pass to his boy on the block was probably available.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure he got that message somewhere, whether it was immediately or when they watched it back. He got that like, hey, where was the play?
Yeah, I think he just got really excited. He was like, let's go.
All right, speaking of really excited here, Missouri State's Isaiah Moseley got the ball on the wing, so they're taking on Drake here. We know very little at this point. There's not a lot to dissect here, Monica. So you're looking at this. You got very little to go on this choose your own adventure. Which way are we going?
I'm gonna go. He's gonna do something off the bounce, and then it's a late pass to somebody I can't even see in the frame yet. Maybe I don't know. This is not fair. I don't like this one.
I'm gonna say he probably kind of fakes and then goes for it.
Okay, I like that. I'm going to presume that they pulled this highlight because something incredible happens, either positive or negative. So with that logic, I think his teammate in the paint is about to spin off behind and catch that ball midair. Oh.
Wait, what?
What just happened? Oh.
That's another one of those plays.
I need to know.
Like, Monica, if I did that to you, we're teammates in a gym game here, and I just did that. Do I see the ball ever again the entire night?
Yeah.
I mean, I am not the person to hold grudges like that. I'm like, come on, Fitz, let's go. Don't worry about it. Get back on D. Get back on D. Come on, Fitz, you got it.
You're talking to somebody that once got a technical foul in a church league game for yelling at myself. I'm just saying, like, you don't need to yell at me. I can handle that myself.
Okay, well, I mean, that one's
that's
just
why
walk
you need
it
me
off.
to pump you back up.
That's a walk it off situation.
Exactly.
All right, let's walk off to another one. Arkansas, Little Rock with the ball down, 2 under 10 seconds, and the clock is ticking. All right, what do you got, Monica?
All right, based on the foolishness of the last clip, I think this kid is going to tumble or something, and it has nothing to do with the basketball game at all.
Oh, that's a really smart take by Monica. Like, I think the kid goes up and knocks the TV over. That's going to be the kid's going to knock the TV over.
I mean, yeah.
Unless
or maybe he'll cartwheel. I don't know. I think he's just going to shoot.
What, can kids just, like, pull out cartwheels? Like,
based off of our last one, who knows? Anything can go at this point. All right, let's see what happens. Oh, the lights go out. Oh. Okay, was not expecting.
No way would have known that.
Well, you still kind
at all.
The lights go out. They don't stop the play.
The lights are still going out.
And that's a loss right there.
Oh, my.
Because they missed the 3. Like, how do you not stop the play and run that back and be like, hey, the cops are holding them back? I mean, Monica, the lights go out. You got to stop the clock and run it back, right?
Yeah.
Guys, give me a minute on this one, because I don't know. Outside of missing half of your team because of actual COVID protocols, I don't know that anything gets more peak 2020, 2021
than the lights going out. I mean, hey, the cartwheel could have been an option given that.
I mean, the cartwheel would have been an easier ending to watch. I mean, you talk about lights going out in a game. It just feels to me like at some point, like if you're college basketball, you got to look at this and say, okay, let's use a little common sense. Like you stop the game, you go back, you look at the score table, you figure out when the clock went out, and you start to play again.
Look,
right?
kudos to them. They kept playing.
100%.
They just went for it, and they didn't get the goal, but.
That's a fair point. If they
went for it.
If they had made the shot, they would not be complaining at all, right? Like that's one of those. Like Monica, you make the shot, you're just like,
Point.
What's the
weirdest?
weirdest?
Did I say
Good
goal?
point, Fitz.
What's the weirdest thing that ever happened in a game that you've seen, Monica?
In a game that I've seen, I just graduated from Georgetown. One of the players, her shoe came off while she was defending, and so she threw it up at the shoot. She was defending somebody that took a shot. She threw her shoe up to hit the ball while the girl was shooting because she couldn't play defense. And I was like, "Shit, what?"
Wow.
Yeah.
All right, she's Monica McNutt, superstar extraordinaire. If you need me just to like carry your lunch to around the horn, like I'm just openly shilling at this point. I'll just hang out in the background and just be like a cheerleader. I'm just saying. Monica, we appreciate you hanging out.
I'll talk to you.
Okay, yeah.
Thanks, Fitz. Thanks, Victoria.
And Monica's going to be all over everything all week, so just check her out everywhere. We appreciate her hanging out with us. Also, bringing it with the Whitney Houston shirt. I'm just saying. All right, you see the set there. College Game Day going to be coming up today. Always a huge episode. They'll talk a little bit more about Jalen Johnson's decision to opt out. To get you a breakdown on the matchup of the weekend, everybody's stoked for Michigan versus Ohio State. And So take a look at Texas's Andrew Jones and one of the more inspiring stories, if you don't know it, that you need to get to know around college basketball. That's all coming up, obviously, on game day itself. Also, huge slate of games coming up throughout the course of the day. Remember, if you're just tuning in, you can authenticate, stay here, and watch college basketball all day in the app. You got Texas Tech taking on Kansas, a big ranked matchup. West Virginia at Texas, another big ranked matchup. Also, just of note, we made it the whole day without any fandom shilling of the Big 12 because a certain somebody named Christine Williamson isn't here now. Just saying. It's amazing how it happened. But we got some big matchups. And don't forget tonight, Virginia Duke, 8 p.m. Eastern on ESPN. You do not want to miss it. She's Victoria Arlen. I'm Jason Fitz. Stay right here all day to watch all the college basketball action you can. And I'll be sure that nobody will have more fun than we just had, though. Check us out every single week. This has been Countdown to Game Day, covered by State Farm. Thanks for joining us.